Hey everybody, Sensei James here along with Coach Josh, and we're going to be going over the material for our junior judo curriculum for semester 5. So let's get started with throwing techniques first. We have 3 of those. Our first one is going to be Kosoto Gake, the small outer hook. So from my judo grip, my right foot is going to step just barely across the line in front of his foot. So I don't want to be on top of his foot. I don't necessarily want to be right in front of his foot. I want to be just a little bit past his foot. My left leg is going to circle around, and I'm going to trap his leg to the mat by wrapping my leg around it and putting the toes or the ball of my left foot actually onto the mat. So I step here, and my foot now is actually making contact with the mat. I'm going to keep that leg in place so he can't take a step back, and I'm not kicking his leg out from under him. I'm just trapping it. We call that a hook or a dash. I'll use my upper body, my hips, my sternum, my shoulders, and everything to bump him, to push him down here. And I'm taking a step at the end, in this case, not to land on my partner. If we did this for real in a dory or a tournament, we would not take that step. I would hook that leg, and I would hang on the whole time he fell and land right on top of him, and then move into a pin as quickly as I could. So for the kids, the big thing we want them to remember is we're not kicking the leg out. We're trapping the leg, holding it there while we push him over. That makes it a gake. Next one is Ko-uchi Gake. This is the small inner hook. You will also sometimes see this called Ko-uchi Makikomi, and that would not be wrong, but in this case we're referring to it as Ko-uchi Gake, the small inner hook. We playfully call this one the giant killer. It's really good for a much smaller person attacking a much taller person. So, forward a little bit closer, Josh. From this position, what I'm going to do is a fencer step, right foot forward, left foot follows. My right foot is going to go through and hook behind this leg, and I'm going to let my arm come to the outside and hook the leg. So I'm encircling his leg with my right leg on the inside, my right arm on the outside, and then I'm going to fall forward. So my grip would be here and here. So he can't take a step back. I'm hooking on the inside of my leg, outside with my arm, and then I'm going to fall forward. Again, I'm catching myself not to fall on my partner hard. In reality, I would fall on them pretty darn hard. So let's see that set up one more time. So, kids always love that one, giant killer, Ko-uchi Gake, small inner hook. Last one for this set is Koshiguruma. This is the hip wheel. It's going to be very similar to the Kubinagi the kids did way back when they got their yellow stripe, depending on how long ago that was. We're going to have one of our arms around their neck and shoulders, but our finish is going to be a little different than Kubinagi. We're going to step and put our hips in very deep so that we kind of wheel them from one side of our hip all the way across to our other hips, kind of a left to right, almost across our whole back. So for this technique, I'll step in, right foot, arm goes around his neck. I can hug or I can grab. When I complete my turn, I'm not going to stop here, and I'm not going to put my foot out the way I did for Kubinagi. Instead, I'm going to take my hips, and I'm going to extend those out past him. Bend with my knees, lift, cross. So he started out mostly on this hip, and then he wheeled across to here. Let's see that with your back toward them. So, Koshiguruma, the hip wheel. Let's go right into the pinning techniques. Our first one this semester is going to be Kamishihogatami. It's actually going to be a repeat from our previous semester, semester 4. Sometimes that's going to happen. I usually do it for specific reasons. In this case, it's because I wanted to tie these 2 techniques in this semester together. They work very well, transferring from one to the other. So Coach Josh will lay on his back with his head toward me. So for Kamishihogatami, I'm above my opponent's head, knees are out wide. I put my arms under both shoulders, grab the belt on both sides. If the belt weren't there, I could grab the gi, grab the pants. I could even hook under the armpits if I needed to. If the belt is there, for testing purposes, we want the kids to grab the belt. So I'll go underneath, grab the belt, shoulder to shoulder, pull him in real tight, and my chest is making contact with his chest. Person on bottom, you want to turn your head to the side so you can breathe. Okay, so this is the upper 4-corner hold. Our next pin is Ushiro Keisugatami. So I like to do that as a follow-on from this upper 4-corner hold. Maybe I start here, but maybe I don't think it's a strong pin for me. Maybe my opponent is almost getting away. Maybe I don't think I can continue to hold it, so I'm going to move to a different pin and give him a different problem to have to worry about. So I'm here in my kami shiho gatame. My left hand lets go of his belt, comes out from under his armpit, shoots across the top of his arm instead, and then I scoop that arm under my armpit. I'm going to make a little bit of space and do a sit through to this side. Now I'm making space so that I don't hurt my partner's face too much. I don't want to scrub my gi all across his face. So I'll make a little bit of space here just so I can sit my leg through here. I've got this arm trapped in the armpit, holding at the bottom. My right arm didn't move. It's still under his shoulder and gripping his belt. I stay real tight. This is just like our regular case of gatame, our scarf hold, except I'm looking the reverse direction, the rear direction. So it's the reverse scarf hold. All right, those are our 2 pins for the semester. Let's work on the miscellaneous mat work real quick. What we've got this semester is the stacks guard pass. Stacks guard pass. This is versus the opponent. I'm in his full guard. Now, if his guard were open, I would just immediately go into this pass. If his guard were closed, I'm going to have to open that. Maybe I use my knee in the center, and maybe I open up like this, what I call a step back pass or separation. From this point, I'm going to drive my arms under both of his legs, and it's important when I hug his legs, I'm going to hug across his thighs, not his knees or his shins. And I want to get his knees up on my shoulders, tight and close to my neck. I don't want his legs loose and out here. He can trap my arms, and it's actually very difficult if he's my size and strength to get out of that, right? So I don't want that to happen. So I hug it real tight. My arms actually cross over each other, so I can grab both of his legs. And notice here, his knees are actually squeezing on my jaw. I'm holding him really, really tight. From here, I'm going to stack him up. So I push his knees toward his chest, get my hips up, and get my toes way far back on my tiptoes or the balls of my feet. So we stack and get high in the back. My right hand lets go of his leg, grabs his lapel on the opposite side, and I start my turn. When I'm ready, I lift my knee up to look at the sky, and I let his leg pass me by, and I could go into whatever pin I want. Let's do that with your head that much, sorry. So again, the hard part for the kids with this one is they get on the side and they want to let go of the pressure. They want to back away and try to go around the leg. We don't want to do that. We want to keep the pressure on and wait until we feel his leg pushing back against my shoulder. When it's pushing back against my shoulder, my neck, when I move, it just pops out of the way. So we stack, grab. So here, I want to keep this forward pressure and just roll my body a little bit. I don't want to back up. Okay? So stacks, guard, pass. Next one is going to be our arm sweep and roll from the guard. Use 2 hands to grab my opponent's arm. I'm going to pull it across. As I pull him down just a little bit, I push this up beside his shoulder. Right arm keeps it there, left arm releases, goes around his neck to grab. Try to grab the wrist. If we can't, we can grab right here. We don't want to grab their fingers and thumb and bend them and break them. That wouldn't be nice or legal. So we grab here. This arm is going to pull this way, and to help me out, this leg is also going to come up and kick that way, like this. Kick. As I pull, I kick, pull, kick, pull, kick. And I can actually keep this and use it. If you were here for our last semester, we did kata gatame, which could be this, or we could consider this a tate shido gatame, a top lock before. So let's see that. Well, this way. Sometimes for the kids and the adults, it can be difficult to get the arm far enough around. So in that case, they need to move their body to the side. They need to shrimp out just a little bit. So if I can't reach, then what I want to do is move to the side here. Now I get a lot more range of motion with my shoulder and arm. I can grab his arm much easier. I pull hard that way, and the right foot kicks that way. Kick and pull, 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 all the way to the top. All right, that was arm, sweep, and roll. Last of miscellaneous mat works, key lock pass versus the half guard. So, he has one of my legs trapped. When just one of my legs is trapped, we call that the half guard. And I can't get points for a pin as long as he has one or both of my legs trapped. I have to get my leg free. So what I'm going to do here is a couple of things. I'm going to put my chest on his chest to press into the mat. I'm going to spread my left leg out so he can't sit up and take me that way. So down here, This arm goes behind his head. My left leg goes way out. I'm going to grab the lapel here. I'm going to drive it underneath his armpit and give it to the hand. Once that hand gets it, I'll pull as hard as I can to make it really tight. I've limited the motion of his arm. I haven't completely stopped it, but I have limited it. Now, left foot out. I'm going to turn my body, looking back at his legs. Now I can use this hand to push his leg off, pull his leg off, or I can pull and kick to drive my leg out and free it, just like that. All right, so that's key lock pass versus half guard, just using the lapel under the armpit. We want to be sure we're grabbing up pretty high. When we take this under the armpit, it should be very tight. There should not be a lot of slack in it for the key lock pass. All right, we have 2 more techniques. These are going to be our self-defense techniques for the semester. First one is when the bad guy comes up behind me, he's being a bear hug under my arms from behind. So we're going to use a judo throw we call May-Aug. So we'll do it first from this angle and then we'll turn around. So he grabs me here in this bear hug. My left arm is going to reach over, grab his arm. I may get both of his hands, and that's okay. Really, as long as I get his right arm. So maybe he didn't have his hands together. Maybe he was like this, right? I want to be sure I get the right arm. Maybe he's like this, like that. Maybe he's got just one on top of the other. I can just get this arm. If his hands are grouped together, that's no problem. I still want to get this arm. Don't have to have that one, okay? Once I've got this arm, I hold it tight. I'm going to put my right foot out, point my toes to the ground, and bend my knee really low. So toes down, knee down, bend low, then I start to wrap, wrap, wrap. I'm catching myself on my elbow so I don't fall really hard on my partner. If we're doing it for real in self-defense, I wouldn't do that. I would fall, man, and put as much of my falling body weight into their sternum and rib cage as I possibly could. Safety-wise, the really, really big thing we want here is the kid doing the throw, or the person doing the throw, that foot needs to be toes down, and our knee needs to bend. So if we do it again from here, once I grab, I want my toes down and my knee low. I want to be below my partner's knee. If my leg is up straight like this, I'm going to lock their knee out and possibly hurt it. If my toes aren't down, if I'm flat-footed, they may land on my leg and hurt my knee, and we don't want that either. Okay, so bear hug underarms, and we're doing May-Aug. We'll practice that on the crash pad for a while first, till the kids get used to it. The last one is versus a full Nelson, a standing full Nelson. So the bad guy comes up behind me, hands under both, and he's got his hands behind my neck. You can kind of see, just like that. So what we're going to do here is first, we're going to put our hands on our own head and push back so that he can't use his hands to push my neck forward and break my balance and posture, make it hard for me to see, move, and breathe. So I use my own hands here to stop that. Then we're going to spread our arms and take a step to the left. We sometimes call this the king tut because of the kind of the position our arms can move into. So from here, I step, lower my body weight, and spread my arms like this. Right leg now makes a big sliding step. It slides out and then shoots behind him. Now I could do one of two things here. Well, there's actually a lot of things I'm focusing on two. I could simply stand up and turn and push him over my leg. In Aikido, we call that Gedanate, lower stance defense. Or I could do a judo throw, Sukyuenage, where I grab his legs and I lift him and scoop him over backwards. Either one of those is going to be acceptable for this particular technique. It may depend a lot on the size and weight of the opponent, or just how fast you can move. So we either have Gedanate or we have Sukyuenage, scoop and throw. All right, that's everything for semester 5. Have fun. See you guys on the mats.